Hello, welcome back to Affirmations. I'm hoping everyone is doing well today. Let's see, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I post. There's a lot of glare with this light. Okay, and I want to thank my subscribers and any new subscribers that I have, as well as those who are swinging through. Okay, hopefully you all had a good week. And as we always say, if it wasn't a good week, what's one thing you can do to kind of help this coming week go smoother? Okay. And let's see, we always start with our saying, death and life is in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Have you been feeding yourself fresh or rotten fruit? Always wanting to mind the self-talk that we do, as well as what you speak about others, okay, as well as what you speak out loud. Sometimes it's okay to vent, but if we're being malicious or lying on others, sometimes it can activate reap what you sow, okay? So we do want to be aware of that, okay? So let's see, today, I'm just kind of doing something a little different, just doing a random kind of type of affirmation cards. I like this little deck called the Woodland Wardens. Okay, I'll put this in the description box, the Woodland Wardens. Okay, and we're going to see, kind of shows you like different animals. So we're going to see which animal that we're getting today. Okay, and we're going to speak from that. And this is that deck where they kind of, it's a little tricky because they have Roman numerals, so I have to try to see if I can find it once we get a card that flips over. Okay, wishing everyone mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical health. As you can see, I don't have my Palo Santo today. I just kind of got on here because I had some energy to get on here. So let me just kind of get on here and not go grab everything. Okay, so let's just see what we get. Okay. Got me a beautiful cloudy kind of light rain today. And rain is always a great thing here on the land because, again, we kind of catch our rainwater. So it's always a blessing to get rain, you know. And for those of you that are interested, look up the benefits of using and even drinking rainwater. I remember as children, we would kind of cup our hands and let the rain fall in your hands and drink the rainwater. It was so sweet. All right. So for those of you who can relate, put a comment in the comment section. Okay. And since I think these cards are going to show animals, and for the let's see, the comment section, put in one of your favorite animals in the comment section. Right. So kind of let me know what animal you like. Okay. I know I tend to love turtles and kind of start liking seahorses as well. You know, seahorses. I think I really love the way the when you look at the characteristics of the male seahorse being very nurturing. So I love turtles, and as of now, the male seahorse. Let's see, we got the hawk and thistle, graceful persistence. The hawk and thistle. Okay, graceful persistence. Let's see what this one is about. This is Roman numeral. Let's see how they got this. XLIV. Let's see if I can find that. What is this talking about? Turn right to it, y'all. We can't make it up. Open the book, turn right to it. Graceful persistence. Come on. Let's see what it's talking about. It says, the hawk is a keen and vigilant observer, so much so that watchful and hawk-eyed have become synonymous or synonyms for hawks. An apex predator, the hawk glides gracefully on the wind, its sharp talons ever at the ready. The thistle can thrive in a variety of environments, from verdant hills to rocky shores. Its spiked, stinging leaves protects its radiant flower, which perches like a crown upon its stem. And one of the advices that it's talking about says you can act fiercely while maintaining your grace and dignity. Again, you can act fiercely while maintaining your grace and dignity. It says sharpen your talents your talons, but don't lose your crown. Oh boy, this is a tricky one. Look at that. You can act fiercely without maintaining, you can act fiercely while maintaining your grace and dignity, and then sharpen your talons, but don't lose your crown. Hmm. So we can be fierce, right? We can be at the ready with the sharpened talons, it looks like, right? In case it's needed. Uh, but we always want to be graceful and have some dignity when we're dealing with tensuous situations, or situations that would cause us to possibly want to pounce or come out of character, right? And it's amazing because sometimes it's amazing how different people can bring different things out in you, right? Some people have a very calming um, effect on you. Some people have a way of pushing buttons, right? And some people are very combative, right? And so it kind of, they know how to aggravate, and some people, they love that. That is their power. If they can see, if they can get you to unravel and not be graceful and not remain in your dignity, they feel like they've won, right? Because if they see you being poised, their goal, again, people that have low self-esteem, who would want to do something like that? People that suffer from low self-esteem would want to get people out of character, to say, see, look at them, right? And I think we've talked about this, how you have some people, they will provoke, stir a person up, and then when the person unravels, they'll say, see, look at them. Because they may be jealous of the fact that people may perceive a person to be graceful and have dignity, so they need to take them off of their throne in their mind, right? But when you see people like that, they're telling you something about themselves. It is some low self-esteem. And you always have to look at things when, there's kind of tension and you're left and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have responded that way. You have to always ask yourself, who started the conversation? Who approached who? The person who approached is a lot of times the provoker. And a lot of times this stuff is premeditated. And, sometimes people may catch us off guard, but we always need to be aware of these people. And again, we have the right to remove ourselves from people that are like that desire to see us out of character, right? In order to boost their self-esteem. And again, we always take it back to slavery, right? Master pretty much had a way of provoking and testing, right? And daring you, of course, to unravel, because if we unravel, the consequences were great, right? So just loving to see a struggle with that, or have to hold it together, right? And also, too, we always talk about what you put out, you get back. Anyone putting out that type of energy, that is going to play out in a whole nother way in their own personal life, right? So that is an issue of power, and a lot of times they're also letting you know it's possible that either growing up or in their life somewhere, someone would do that to them. And so again, we sometimes will pick up and choose to be the abuser, or sometimes when we go through difficult things, we choose to be different and be a healer or a helper. So you're going to choose either side. So sometimes people that are choosing to take on that character, if you look at their history, is someone that possibly did them that way, and so they're acting that out. Again, they need to heal that. And if you find you're a person that tends to enjoy or seek to unravel people, you need to think about definitely counseling, some unresolved issues there. So again, we always talk about journaling. Get pen to paper and kind of look at that. Okay, let's see, it also has something on here too. It says external pressures have weakened your resolve. Remember your worth and guard it closely. So sometimes, people and things outside of us can wear us down to the point to where we kind of don't have the energy, right, to want to stand in dignity and grace, or move forward with our goals and plans. Okay, it says remember your worth and guard it closely. So guard what? Your worth closely. So what that means is we're going to have to really look at people that make us feel like we're worthless, people that make us, when we leave them, we're wondering our worthiness, right? And I don't care, they can be kind, but if they put you in your mind of wondering, are you worthy? This is a question mark of, do you even need to be around these people? Okay? Because one thing we know for sure, if someone is trying to belittle you or need you to not feel worthy, it is nothing you can do in order for them to say, you know what, no, you're worthy, let me stop. Because again, what did I say? A lot of our people are struggling with that, of kind of taking on the behavior of master, right? But and again, we always talk about the master slave dynamic. Are you going to participate and be that of slave, right? And stay attached to that kind of energy. Okay. So that is an interesting one. Yeah. Turn right to it. The hawk and the thistle. Okay. So let's see. Look like the camera's cooperating today. Sometimes I'm going back and forth with different phones recording. So normally this one glitches, but it's behaving today. So let's see if we can pull another card. See what comes out. Look like this wants to come out. Ah, this is cute. Ironic, we got this one, the opossum and the peony, bashfulness. Opossum and the peony. I have a funny story to tell you all. I've in other stories talked a little bit about my mom's dad. He would give all the grandchildren nicknames. And lo and behold, guess what my nickname was? Possum. I'm like, okay, I'm Possum. He said, hey, Possum, whenever I come visit. I said, great. I didn't know what a possum looked like till I got 30 years old. And I remember I was living in Clear Lake. I would have this patio, and I would love having my patio big window open with my plants and cactus and plants. And it was nighttime, and this thing strolls out. I said, oh my God, I think this is a possum. And I was horrified to see what it looked like, because it looks like a big rat. So, of course, I was kind of offended at 30, like, why would he name me Possum? And my mother's passed away now, for many of you that know. And I asked her, I said, Mom, I said, possums are ugly. Why would he name me Possum? And she said, when I was born, I literally was birthed and I was silent. I came out with my eyes wide open, looking around, and I had a lot of white with just a little dot for an eye, which resembled to him the eyes of a possum. So that was the interesting thing about me. Didn't come out crying. I came out like observing the world, just looking with these huge eyes with white with a dot. So possum. So now, of course, I love possums now, because they remind me of my granddad. Live here on the land, and sometimes I will see them, and think of him. So it's interesting that we got this card, possum, y'all. Let's see, what number is this? Of course, it would fall. Okay, come on. Let's see. What number is this? Let's see. XXV111. XX. Where are we? XX. Look like we might get to it. Yep. Is it there? XX. Is this right? XX. Yeah. Am I looking at this right? Oh, 2X is not 3. 2X is not 3. Okay. Looks like the camera's still working with me. Okay, it says, to play possum is to remain quiet and still when faced with danger. The expression comes from the opossum's unique reaction to fear. It kills over and pretends to be dead. This is an instinctual response, and an effective one. Spotting what appears to be a dead possum, predators will often lose interest. Similarly, the beautiful peony flower is associated with bashfulness. According to Greek mythology, nymphs who wish to hide from mortals' eyes would disguise themselves as peonies. Okay, so they give a lot of mythology and different things. And again, we talked about how, we do have a right to kind of explore different things and, have our opinions about different examples they may use. Okay, doesn't mean we have to agree with everything. Okay, it says, you may wish to hide away from the world. While periods of solitude are necessary and helpful, it says, be sure your retreat isn't driven by fear. So, are we retreating because we're fearful? And this is tricky because, I look at this a little bit different. I think as a people, we've had to retreat And we have been tortured, and there's been a lot of fear, and we had good reason to be fearful. And so sometimes it is wise to retreat, to kind of gather ourselves to figure out how we want to approach and deal with situations, right? But what's interesting is you'll see this. Um, Sometimes we've had so much negativity, and because of some of the trauma from slavery, we will fear things that are positive and good for us, and we'll hide from that. And then things that we should fear, we'll go around that. People, places, and things that are a danger to us, we'll go around that. But things that are good for us, that could progress us or help us change for the better, we're fearful of that, and then we'll hide from that and avoid that. So we want to make sure that we are not hiding from fear, from positive change and positive opportunities for ourselves, right? Because we've been programmed so much to the negative that we are comfortable almost with the things that we should be scared of, right? And also, too, they would also make us stand around when they were torturing different ones and watch. So we were forced to watch that. So we have to know that sometimes we may be drawn to that because that's also programmed within us, but we don't have to be around that or participate in that, okay? It also talks about why you may have recently been shaken or scared. Perhaps you've passed through some turmoil or endured a disorienting change. You are now ready to stand on your own two feet. It says, how do I respond to fear? Instinctually or otherwise? Yeah, how do you normally respond to fear? That's a good journaling to look at, okay? All right, and with that, guys, I am going to bid you a good evening or a good morning, depending on when you're looking at this, a good day. Do like, share, and subscribe. Do look in the description box to find information about how to find a counselor, as well as how to get in contact with me. The only way to contact me is through email. I will never reach out to you. If someone's doing it, no, that's not me, okay? And so I'll end with my statement. Everyone has a right to heal from trauma, okay? Even a race nation. And until next time, bye.